How's everyone doing?
Good.
Hopefully good. It's really a pleasure to be here with all of you today. I want to, John kind of teed me up pretty well. I mean, I'm going to talk about how to set up your accounting department and what I believe is the most efficient and effective way to do that, and how to help gather data that he's talking about that'll help you get there. So real quick about my business. So we do part-time CFOs and controllers. We're got a lot of great people. We're spread across 6 states with 9 offices, and keep rolling, Catherine. And just got a lot of good folks. So let's move ahead. So we just like to come in and get work done. That's really what we do, and it's a lot of fun. So I want to compare building an accounting department to the life cycle of a company, and almost like the life cycle of a person, right? So pretty simple. Let's jump into this. So when you're a brand new business, and actually I want to do something, I hope this is okay. Can everybody stand up? Just for 1 second. Everybody stand up. So if you've been in business more than a year, go ahead and sit down. Or I'm sorry, if you've been in business a year or less. I did it backwards, sorry. Clayton was looking at me saying, okay.
I got you.
All right, how about 2 years? 3 years? 5 years? 7 years? 10 years? More than 15? So that's pretty exciting. I mean, this is a really, really great group of people sitting in this room, right? So you've experienced a lot of this. It's important. This will help me as we do this. So when we all go back one. So when we all started out, we thought, you know what? We've just got to get some revenue, and I can kick out some invoices, and I'll look at my checkbook. That's the accounting, right, for a business. Now, as we grow up, then we start to say, gosh, we could use a little bit more. How many of you, by a raise of hand, use a relative to do some of your accounting work at some point? Anybody? Spouse? It's okay. What's that? I did. Did your spouse look like that? After a while, they get a little frustrated, right? So, but you got to get through some basic things, and that's the right way to do it for a period of time. And then business gets bigger. All of you in this room have been in business a long time. You're successful. So now you're saying, well, let's get the basics done. I need a little more. Now my spouse is mad at me, or the relative or whatever. And nights and weekends are getting a little squeezed, and you don't have time, right? So then what do? You say, well, I've got somebody answering the phone at my office. They can take care of it, right? So that works for a while. But then as the business starts to really move and you start to get that momentum, things change a lot. Because you're saying, okay, I've got to hire a bookkeeper, I've got to hire somebody to pay bills, somebody to invoice customers, somebody to receive a few checks. But you get to this and you're like, gosh, I could use a lot more. I've got other things I need to talk about. And so, who do you talk to? Do we have meaningful reports? Are you getting the data that John was talking about? Because life isn't just about accounting stuff. It's about operations and sales and financial data, okay? And then we move to a little more matured business. And all of you are at different places in this, but now you've got to say, okay, we've got to invest some money. We've got to move along because there's things you can't live without. And I'll pick on Clayton. Clayton's got a bunch of employees, 150, give or take. 150 employees, that's a lot of people to manage. You've got to manage by data. It's a different game. And you've got to have real analysis and know where you're going. So we started out doing it ourselves. We moved to the relative or the spouse or somebody, or nights and weekends, however you're doing that. And then you had a receptionist, and then maybe you hire a clerical person, but just click on that. But really, as you grow to like Clayton's business, all of these efforts become a department. You might have a couple of people or more doing each of these. Well, that's great, because this is the right way to do it. You want to scale your clerical because these are the least expensive people, right? So then what do you layer on over those clerical people to make this happen? You've got to have a CFO or a controller. So now it comes down to assessing your environment and what your individual business needs are. So there's a few ways to do this. 15, 20 years ago, you really had temp agencies and full-time employees. Now you can do part-time things. There's a few other options. And remember that in accounting and finance, there's always a cost. You've got to think about the benefit of what you're getting and how that works. And there are options. Always focus on expanding clerical, because that's the cheapest way to get a lot of things done. If you're going to do that, you've got to have really good process and really good procedures, okay? So that clerical people can fit in and it's a little bit cookie cutter. That makes a big difference. And then thinking about how complicated your company is and all of the steps. So there are, Dan, you do staffing and PEO. There's a lot of regulations and things you have to deal with. So there are, and as I pick on you, I hope you're okay with that.
No, I shove them all underneath the carpet. I'm trying to turn a blind eye as much as possible.
Dan does a great job. His business is growing rapidly. And so, but those are things you've got to address when you think about your environment and what are the specialized skill sets that you're going to need. And so, look, we've done this 500 times with companies at least, and scale the clerical, that'll save you a lot of money. Then figure out based on your environment when to bring in the higher priced people. That's it. So, does anybody have any questions? Thank you. Go ahead.
I wonder if you could just kind of, I know it's different from industry to industry, but are there any top KPIs that people might want to have on the tip of their tongues? If they're
the one thing that I think every business has is accounts receivable. I mean, there's a few web-based businesses that don't. But if you don't know your days sales outstanding, your DSO, so how many days does it take you to convert a sale to cash in your hand? You've got to know that. Steve, I'll pick on you. You've got inventory. You've got to know how long it takes to turn your inventory. That's critical, right, Steve?
Well, actually, our industry is more or less box in, box out. We have a little bit of inventory, but our main thing is what would be meaningful to me is from the time we build a customer to the time we get paid would be a KPI for me.
Yeah. So there's a good example. So you need to know, does it take you 15 days to get that money? I work with a lot of people telling them, stop handing out 30-day terms. You need to pull their credit and decide, should they be on due upon receipt? Should they be prepay? Should they be net 7, net 14? That kind of thing. And you'll be amazed how much you can change that number. It's pretty easy to calculate. Just type in days sales outstanding on Google, and you'll get that. You can do the same thing with an inventory formula. Those are two things that we see people that don't monitor. It's critical you do that. So there's two KPIs.
Jim,
Derek.
What size company would you be most beneficial for? Is it a number of employees? Is it gross sales? What?
That's a great question, Derek. It really doesn't have a perfect answer, and it doesn't have a perfect answer because, go back one, Catherine, it's because of this complications in the environment. So we work with companies typically from about $1 million to $50 million in revenue, but it has, that's the number one driver. It's really when you start to feel the pain of, my spouse can't do this, I don't have time, we need more from the bookkeeper. You've got to drive KPIs, you've got to drive good data to be able to manage and grow. So many business owners run into the ceiling of growth, kind of the E-myth that we all hear about, because they're not willing to look at the data, and first thing you've got to do is get the data. Is that a fair answer, Terry? Yeah. So, anybody else? Anyway, thank you all. Glad you're here.